Now at 10, horse owners gathered together this weekend in Carthage for the Racing for Cash barrel race competition. Plus, a local Kansas museum explores the economy of the mining era in a special exhibit.
New questions are being raised about those classified documents found in President Biden's private home and office. I'm Cristian Benavides with what the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee is asking for.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Cale Chapman. The Art Forms Gallery in Pittsburgh, Kansas hosted a tote bag workshop with a local artist today. Participants used vintage materials to create their tote bag designs with 2 alternate options. If participants had a portable sewing machine that they wanted to sew it themselves with, they could bring their machine along with sewing scissors and pins, or participants could have the artist sew it together for them.
Well, what inspired me was the fact that I had a whole bunch of doilies and things and everybody's got those in their closets that my relatives had made, and they were not perfect. You know, they had stains or rips or things like that. And rather than toss them out, I just couldn't do that, so I found a new purpose for them with these totes.
The workshop was open to anyone ages 10 and older. The Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas hosted its first quarterly exhibit. It's called Of Money and Metals, Doing Business in the Mining Era. Museum officials say the exhibit explores the means of commerce such as coins, currency, and substitutes that made doing business possible during the mining era of 1860 to 1980. Participants were able to learn about the changes in the composition of coins, the common alternatives to legal tender, and the transition from the use of coins to the adoption of currency and related financial instruments.
Well, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be here today. We have an exhibit that will run for 3 months showing coins of the era that we're talking about, the mining era, and 3 opportunities here to present seminars and programs talking about coins and currency and collectibles.
3 more special programs are planned at the Miners Hall Museum for the next several months. Horse owners gathered together this weekend in Carthage for the Racing for Cash barrel race competition. KOAM's Yana Atala visited the event and talked with officials and participants.
Residents from the 4 states and even further gathered to compete in monthly barrel racing at the Lucky J Arena in Carthage.
Contestants that came from several different states: Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, one girl from Wisconsin, Colorado. We had some that traveled here from Colorado yesterday.
This weekend is special as the competition includes Junior Hui Patriot Qualifier for a larger competition that will be held in a couple of months in Texas. 10 of 45 young contestants qualified.
The Junior Hui has $1.5 million payout to those rodeo contestants, and there'll be over 6,000 contestants that qualify and go to that rodeo down there. So we were really blessed and honored to be able to have that local qualifier here for those young contestants to be able to go to Texas.
Avery Carter traveled from Arkansas and placed second in the Hui Junior race with a time of 15.060.
It's very hard for the perfect race because like you have your ups and downs, you have your good times and your bad times, but to me it's just I get frustrated when something just doesn't go my way, and I need to work on that because like my horse just does so well for me, and I'm just so blessed to have her.
She says it's going to be a good time competing with friends.
I'm just excited currently. I bet when I get down there I'm going to be super nervous because you're running basically against half the country and it's going to be big.
Gandhi says working with horses teaches a lot of self-discipline and competition.
There's kids that get full rides to colleges with, rodeo events and everything. And so, that can help with their education. And then, there's national level competitions that can take them on to do different things throughout their life and their careers.
In Carthage, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Prizes for competitors are given out in cash for 10 places in each division. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Kayla. It was a windy day across the area with winds out of the south at over 30 miles per hour at times today. Radar looks pretty busy right now, but unfortunately, a lot of this is not even reaching the ground. Maybe some sprinkles out towards Wichita starting to reach the surface. We just have a lot of dry air, but that moisture is going to start thickening up the atmosphere a little bit, and we'll finally start to see some raindrops by tomorrow morning. But the big story today was the winds. You can see the winds were gusting over 30 miles per hour, approaching 35 miles an hour in some locations, and those winds are going to be with us overnight and into tomorrow as well. And as we go through the forecast, you can see those winds tonight maybe gusting up close to 50 miles an hour by tomorrow morning. And then as the afternoon progresses, the winds are going to turn around to the south and west, and they're still going to be gusty. And that means the dew points are going to be dropping, and also the fire danger is going to be increasing as well. Of course, we'll have more details on the forecast when we come back.
Questions surrounding the Biden administration about the classified documents discovered late last year and last week continue to grow. On Saturday, White House lawyer Richard Sauber said in a statement that 6 pages of documents marked classified were found at the president's private home last week near Wilmington, Delaware. That is, in addition to others discovered there in December, in his garage, and in November at a Washington, D.C. office President Biden once used. This brings the total to approximately 20 classified records found in both locations. CBS correspondent Christian Benavidez has more from Miami.
Any more classified documents?
Heading home to Delaware Sunday, President Biden didn't answer questions about the discovery of classified documents at his private residence there and a former Washington, D.C. office. James Comer, the newly appointed Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, sent a letter Sunday to the White House Chief of Staff saying, in part, given the serious national security implications, the White House must provide the Wilmington residence's visitor log.
What we see with President Biden is there are multiple locations. We would never have known about the possession of the classified documents were it not for investigative reporting by CBS that somehow got a leak to determine that this had happened prior to the election. So the administration hasn't been transparent.
Following the initial discovery of documents at the D.C.-based Penn Biden Center, additional documents were found at the president's private home, including the garage and another area.
We don't have any indication that President Biden knew about them. He certainly has demonstrated no intent to deceive or obstruct the government by keeping them, and that's in direct contrast to President Trump, who refused to cooperate.
If these documents were available for a long period of time in such an open environment as a garage, for heaven's sakes, now I understand the garage was locked as the president made a point, but still they were available.
Utah Republican Congressman Chris Stewart says the House Intelligence Committee will receive more information from the Director of National Intelligence about the documents within the next few weeks. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Although the initial discovery of the documents was 6 days before the midterm elections, the first time the public heard about it was last Monday when the White House responded to inquiries from CBS News. On Thursday, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the appointment of Robert Hur, a former U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland, as a special counsel to investigate the matter. We take time now to honor a local veteran, Frank Lindsay. Lindsay served in the U.S. Army from 1967 to 1970. The Lamar, Missouri native went overseas to Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division, where Lindsay fought during the Tet Offensive. He was awarded the Vietnam Service Medal, Bronze Star, Good Conduct Medal, and Jump Wings. To Frank Lindsay, we thank you, our four-state hero. And coming up, unusual animals have been sighted multiple times in Kansas. Farmers are hoping that they are not here to stay. Plus, an Illinois gun show goes on despite a new ban on firearms in the state. The Kansas City Zoo revealed the gender of its newest baby rhino this morning. The father, Rucka, helped knock open a gender reveal ball that unfurled some pink confetti. In a Facebook post, the zoo said that the mother and calf are bonding after their birth on December 31st. The eastern black rhinoceros is a critically endangered species, making the birth of the new calf all the more important. The zoo said only about 740 of these rhinoceroses are living in the wild. Now, some Kansans are seeing an unusual animal moving into the state. We've got the latest from Wichita.
Many are starting to see feral hogs roaming around parts of Kansas. A Garden Plain police officer posted to their Facebook after the department got reports of people seeing the hogs. The officer then found some himself just south of the town. The department says a USDA wildlife agent was immediately notified. Then Saturday, someone sent 12 News even more pictures of what they say were feral hogs near Lake Afton. Farmers in the area north of Garden Plain say they've dealt with feral hogs on their property already, and they hope it doesn't become a major problem.
Keep your eyes out. We hope they don't come in the area, but they're to the south and we've heard them moving up. The individual I got a hold of was with USDA. We got a hold of him and we're able to put him on the trail, I guess.
Jeff says the feral hogs caused damage to his soybean field, where he believes the hogs trampled through the crops. He says when this happened, the USDA established a neighborhood watch, and if any feral hogs were spotted, the goal was to trap them. Jeff also says the state of Kansas has a zero-tolerance policy against feral hogs because of how much damage they can cause.
What Kansas doesn't want is any feral hogs. Hog populations can increase.
And they can increase quickly. The American Farm Bureau Federation says feral hogs have caused more than $2.5 billion in damages to agriculture, livestock, and the environment.
Feral hogs can be very, very damaging to cropland, to rangeland, to private property. They like to root and dig and play in the mud and dig for bugs. They can really hurt crops and your personal property pretty quickly.
Police have identified the victim and the suspect in a case that shook up a South Philadelphia neighborhood shortly before Christmas. On December 23rd, a body was found in a freezer at a South Philadelphia home. Police now say the victim was 54-year-old Thee Den. The suspect is his son, 27-year-old Jack Den. Thee Den's body was found in the basement of an area home. Police said a father and son were the only ones living in the home. Jack Den was arrested by the police for the homicide. He was denied bail and is in custody with a court appearance scheduled for next month, according to court documents. Gun enthusiasts attended a show in Belleville, Illinois on Saturday, just days after the state passed a ban on the sale of many common kinds of semi-automatic guns. The ban was passed in response to a massacre at an Independence Day parade in Highland Park last year and other mass shootings. The new law, which Illinois' Governor J.B. Pritzker signed on Tuesday evening, bans the selling of many kinds of weapons that automatically load the next bullet after a shot. Rifles that hold more than 10 bullets and pistols that hold more than 15 are also banned, as rapid-fire attachments and .50 caliber guns. People who already own such weapons will be able to keep them, but must register them with state police.
The whole thing is completely unconstitutional. One of the problems is people that write the laws don't know anything about firearms. I think a lot of people are afraid because there's a lot of information out there that's conflicting. So people really don't know what they can do and what they can't do. We expect the Illinois State Rifle Association will go to court, try to get an injunction, try to get the whole thing overturned.
8 other states in the District of Columbia have already enacted similar bans. The White House said on Wednesday President Biden wants other states to join Illinois in banning assault weapons. Emergency crews saved a California woman who is trapped in a creek as heavy rains continue to wreak havoc across California. The Orange County Fire Authority deployed a rescuer harnessed to a helicopter to pull the woman from the creek as she clung to a tree amid rising and coursing water. The woman was unharmed and returned with her family. Atmospheric rivers, rarely seen in such frequent succession, have pounded the Golden State since December 26th, killing at least 19 people and bringing floods, power outages, mudslides, evacuations, and road closures. For the first time in 10 years, Miss USA has won the Miss Universe contest. Rabani Grabiel was named the winner of the 71st annual Miss Universe pageant yesterday in New Orleans, Louisiana. Gabriel beat 84 other beauty queens for the title of Miss Universe. At 28 years old, Gabriel was the oldest contestant. During the question round, she said, "I believe age does not define us." Gabriel is a fashion designer from Houston, Texas, and works for a nonprofit. She's also the first Filipino-American to win Miss Universe. A little later, we recap this weekend in college sports with our sports director, Jacob Leonard.
And I'm going to have a look at your work week forecast, which includes some changes, so you'll want to stay tuned. Friends, we've had a warm weekend across the area, a little bit on the windy side today, so you needed to hang on to your hat, and that's going to continue through the overnight hours. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, it's let's start over. I can't recover from that. That's just... It's been a warm weekend across the area, a little bit on the windy side today, and that's going to continue into the overnight hours. Let's go down in Seneca, Missouri and look at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Pretty nice night shaping up down for those folks, as well as across the entire four-state area. Over the last 36 hours, it was quite cold yesterday morning, and then we got up into the 50s, and then this morning we were down into the 40s, and this afternoon in the lower 60s across our area, which is unusual for January. In fact, we were only 6 degrees away from the record high of 68, set back in 1952, well above the normals of 44 and 25. In fact, the low was only 4 degrees away from the normal high. So just kind of goes to show you how warm it was today. Radar right now is looking pretty busy, but a lot of this is evaporating before it hits the ground. Maybe a few sprinkles down in Oklahoma. Those sprinkles are going to start moving up into our area because there is some moisture moving at us from the west with that big parade of storms on the west coast, and you can see the atmospheric river here pushing that moisture in our direction. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit more rainfall in our forecast on Wednesday, but we could see some showers in our region tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon were very mild and pleasant across the entire area, generally upper 50s to lower 60s across the region. 62 in Afton today, 63 down in Grove, and temperatures right now are still in the 50s for the most part across our area, lower 50s off towards the east in Springfield where they're currently 50, but almost still 60 at Chanute at this hour, and that's about 15 to 20 degrees above where we were last night at this time, so we are much warmer tonight. And also we're starting to see the moisture increase too, with dew points in the 40s and 50s, and that's going to help those showers develop later on tonight. 57 is what it's at right now in Joplin. Of course, it feels like 57, but look at the wind out of the south at 18. Dew point is 46 and the pressure is currently steady. Now, as we go through the forecast, you can see the showers developing in the morning with temperatures in the 50s. Then as we go through the day, dry line moves through, so the dew points start dropping and the winds are still going to be up there, so a fire danger is going to be in effect with temperatures in the 60s. And then as we go through Monday night into Tuesday morning, we're going to see lows dropping back down into the 30s across the area. Then Tuesday afternoon, we're going to see increasing clouds with highs in the 50s for the most part, but 60s down to the south, especially south of the warm front. That warm front's going to kind of waver around for a little bit, and then we're going to see showers moving into our area as we move into Wednesday morning, and it'll be a cold rain too, especially up towards the north and west, with lows generally in the 40s. Rainfall amounts are going to be on the light side with the first system, and then on Wednesday, the next system brings us a little bit more moisture, so we could see rainfall amounts in about a half an inch. Over the next 7 days, here's your forecast. 40% on Wednesday, and maybe some snowflakes on Thursday morning, but that's going to be way up to the north. And it's going to stay chilly through most of the rest of the week, including next weekend when we could have a shot at some snow. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a rainy start to the semester for our college students.
Absolutely. Winter's not going to give up just yet.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Well, coming up next, we've got sports. The Pitt State women are going to pick up their 8th win in the last 9 games against Washburn. And the Missouri Southern Lions start fast and cruise by Emporia State. We'll have a recap and post-game reaction from both games after this. The Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern basketball teams were both in action at home on Saturday. Pitt State split with Washburn while Missouri Southern split with Emporia State. Sports Director Jacob Leonard has a recap of last night's local college action.
The Pittsburgh State women got off to a bit of a slow start Saturday against Washburn, trailing by 4 at halftime.
Their defense is super tough. I mean, I really believe they're one of the toughest defensive teams in the league.
They're long, they're quick, they ice us. I mean, that was hard to play against.
The Gorillas turned it on in the second half. Pitt State outscored Washburn 28-12 in the fourth quarter. A run kick-started by fifth-year players Aaron Davis and Tristan Gegg.
When we came to the fourth quarter, we started slowing down, really taking time to look at the defense, seeing what they're giving us, and making sure we have the right team shot.
I just feel like we got some emotion going, got a little confidence, and that can do a lot for you. And it's contagious. I think we got a pretty good group that feeds off of each other. And so that was the biggest difference, I think, was just get that little lift from Aaron and T.
Corinna Gerber posted 16 points and 9 rebounds for Pittsburg State, while Grace Pyle had a double-double with 15 points and 11 rebounds. In the men's game at Pittsburg State, Marquis English got off to a hot start and led Pitt State with 15 points, but the Ichabods made 14 threes on the day and shot 53% from the field, beating the Gorillas 93-63. In Joplin, the Missouri Southern women started fast against Emporia State, outscoring the Hornets 27-10 in the first quarter.
It was a big momentum. We really needed that, and seeing everyone hit shots and everything going in, it was a big plus for our team to just give us more momentum to keep going.
Southern cruised by the Hornets 86-69 with 4 players in double figures. Caitlin Honeycutt made 4 threes in the game and finished with a season-high 20 points.
I saw a couple shots go in early, so it gave me some confidence. I've been struggling throughout most of the season, but my teammates have had confidence in me throughout the whole time. They always tell me shoot the ball, shoot with confidence.
She's such a good shooter, and we all know it as a staff, and all her teammates know how good of a shooter she is. It was just great to see her finally knock down some shots and shoot with confidence. And you could tell after she made her first couple, she wasn't worried about it. She wasn't hoping it was going in. She knew it was going in.
On the men's side for Southern, the Lions saw their 7-game winning streak come to an end, falling in overtime to Emporia State 83-79. Vincent Sigmund Jr. led the way with 21 points for the Lions. Missouri Southern will be on the road next week for a pair of games against Northeastern State and Rogers State.
We'll be right back with more news and weather after this. Well, Sam, what's to look forward to with the weather?
Well, we got some widely scattered showers tomorrow morning, but then a better chance of rain on Wednesday, maybe mixing over with a little bit of snowflake activity on Thursday morning up to the north, but a better chance of snow perhaps next weekend, and that continues right on into the early part of next week. So we're going to have to monitor that pretty closely as the models are still debating as to exactly how that's going to turn out. So winter is going to try to make a comeback.
Well, there you go, yeah.
It is January.
Yes, yeah, it is January. It's only natural.
Yeah.
All righty, well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for making us a part of your night. Have a great one.